In our previous video, the analysis of the hourly euro to US dollar chart had highlighted some questions about the phasing analysis that had been performed on the daily chart. In particular, the positioning of the most recent trough of the 20-week cycle was brought into question, and an alternative position for the 80-day trough looked as if it might be more appropriate and might lead to a better phasing analysis. In this video, we'll take a look at how that could be achieved. Let's tell Intraday to position a trough of the 80-day cycle over here, and let's see what that does to our analysis. Now, how do you do that? Very simple. You create an expert model. Don't be frightened about it. You click on the analysis menu, then the expert menu, create new model. Intraday will pop up the create new analysis model dialog, and you'll notice that the longer cycle that it has chosen is in fact the dominant cycle of the current analysis. The current analysis, if you read the detail down here, says that the dominant cycle is assumed to be the 40-week nominal wave, and it has chosen as the longer cycle the 40-week cycle. When you are creating an expert model, you must always have a longer cycle that is at least as long as the dominant cycle in the current analysis. That will ensure that the expert model that you create is used correctly by Intraday in adjusting its analysis. What is the model resolution? The model resolution is the finest detail that we want to exert, the finest detail that we want to tell Intraday about. Now, I've been speaking about telling Intraday where to position the 80-day cycle. So, in fact, the model resolution should be 80 days. Right, we click on OK, and I'm going to call this expert model the euro to US dollar, and it's a daily chart, and it is being applied to our demo workspace. So let me call it euro US dollar daily demo. Click on OK, and here we are in the expert model builder. It presents all of the data that it has, but now I only want to tell Intraday about what to do with the most recent 80-day cycle. So what should I do? I must always position a trough range of the dominant cycle, and in this case the 40-week cycle. I should always position one of those where I believe there is a trough of the 40-week cycle, the dominant cycle. So I'm going to position a trough range there, which I do by simply double-clicking on that point. You'll notice now the expert model consists of trough ranges going all the way up to 40 weeks. Then I want to tell Intraday to position a trough range of the 80-day cycle. So I click within the 80-day zone. If I click up here in the 40-week zone, I would create another 40-week trough range, which I don't want to do. I want to tell Intraday to position an 80-day trough over here. So I double-click within the 80-day zone over here, double-click. I want to make it a fairly tight trough range, so I use a range of only 10%, not the default 50%, and there we go. What this expert model will do is it will tell Intraday that a trough of the 40-week cycle occurred over here on the 7th of June, and that a trough of the 80-day cycle occurred over here on the 24th of August. We save and exit. How do we apply our expert model? It's very easy. We go to Analysis, Expert, Assign to Chart. We find the Euro US dollar daily demo 80-day resolution, and we get a message that a new analysis needs to be performed. We say yes. Intraday has found better phasing analysis entries. We won't let that bother us for now. We'll just say yes, continue, and there we go. We have a new analysis. Now, this new analysis looks perhaps a little bit better because we have the 18-month cycle trough over here on the 7th of June as we did previously, and we have an 80-day cycle trough over here on the 24th of August. I'd like to point something else out here. If you've attended a trading workshop, you'll know that it is often the case that after a fairly major trough, that the first quarter cycle, which in this case is the 20-day cycle, is not very impressive, and that the real move tends to start after the first quarter cycle, which is what has happened over here. That is a pattern that we often see. Now, let's have a look and see what happens when we apply this analysis onto our other charts. How do we do this? It's very simple. We go to our 4-hour chart. Remember that this chart is inheriting its analysis from the daily chart. So let me zoom all the way out again, and I click on the Analyze button again, and it will reload the phasing analysis from the daily chart, and there you can see there is the new analysis. The 18-month cycle trough is in the same place, but now we have an 80-day cycle trough occurring over here on the 24th of August, and it has found a 40-day trough over here. Now let's go to our hourly chart, which is the chart that alerted us to the fact that there might have been an analysis problem, and we will once again update the analysis on this chart, and it will reload the phasing analysis from the 4-hour chart. Now remember, the reason that we realized there was a problem was because the analysis took so long, and you'll notice that the analysis has now taken a much quicker time. That analysis happened before I could finish what I was speaking about. Let's check whether the analysis is in fact true and correct. Yes, here is an 80-day cycle trough, and here is the 40-day cycle trough, which is the same as the 40-day cycle trough that was found on the 4-hour chart. Let's zoom in and perform our very quick and easy check for whether this is a good analysis. Do we see any inverted wave shapes? No. Certainly from the 20-day cycle all the way down to the 5-day and even to the 2-day cycle, there are no inverted wave shapes visible, which indicates that this is probably a better analysis than the analysis that we had before. So now let's zoom in. We have found a 40-day cycle trough over here on the 28th of September, and we have Sentient Trader has found a 10-day cycle trough over here on the 5th of October, and what has happened since then is that price has moved up, and it's now expected to come down into another 5-day cycle trough. And that's quite enough for this video. Next we're going to move on to the 15-minute chart.